All right, what up, man? Hello, world. We in Leisure's world. I mean, it's your boy Max Leisure. I'm with my bro. You know,
What's good, Brody? If you can hear me, I don't know how the audio going for me.
Big Will. What up?
What's going on? I don't know if I'm in delay or
I can
what.
hear
I
you
don't
now,
know.
but you know, it is what it is.
It might be
We're
in,
just
it
about to
might be a
roll up
delay
real
for me.
quick
It's
before
always
we
a
get
delay.
into
Hold
this.
on.
Hmm? Yeah, it's probably a delay. My shit is. All right, let's get into this. So yeah, man, as you can see in the title, I'm saying if you don't believe the earth is flat, you're not a true Christian. And today we're doing the Tinfoil Tuesdays. So that's such a subject
Hold on.
to dive into. Now, what's up?
Go on today, bro. What you got going on?
Hmm? I'm I'm freezing up. Can you hear me? My connection seems like it ain't gonna do me no justice. So you're gonna have to bear with me. Can you hear me?
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Am I choppy though?
Nah, I must be choppy because it seems like it's a pause in between what I'm saying.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just barrel forward and just or actually, if you could hear me, because you are coming through when you speak. It sounds like it. Did you seen what I have in the title? It's the first conspiracy we're getting into. It's kind of two conspiracies in one. The all the conspiracies about the Christian Catholic Church and then Catholic Christian and then flat Earth. But did you have any questions or comments on my my assertion?
I never understood the difference between Catholic and Christian. I still don't.
Um, I don't know all the technicalities because it's a gang of different Christian sects and a gang of different Catholic sects. So the biggest difference that I know is that uh the Catholics worship Mary. I don't know if there's worship Mary, but they see Mary as, if I'm not mistaken, holier than
Yeah,
Jesus
I don't know
because
what's
they
going on
say
now.
she gave birth
Now
to
it's getting
Jesus.
choppy.
I am. All right, let me see.
Yeah,
Let me see if I
now
can
it's
get a
getting
third
choppy. I
party
don't
in
know
here.
what the heck going on now.
See if I can get a third party to see if they'll contribute and see who it is. If it's me, if it's you, if it's us, StreamYard. See if Donnie will hop up in here. Um, so what have you heard so far?
I mean, it's not what I've heard. It's just what I've seen. There's differences between Christian and Catholics. I like it. They both believe in Jesus, but it's just like it just seems different. And I haven't really been necessarily able to pinpoint it exactly. Like, what's the difference? They make it seem like
Have
it's a
you ever
big
been
difference.
in? Have you ever been inside of a Catholic church, like actually inside of a, what is it, cathedral?
Yeah, why don't you live?
Doesn't it just seem a little
Devilish.
darker
It seems.
than
It seems
what the
like.
Christian church is?
It seems like it's Satan's. Satan. It's the difference. Me. The difference between Catholic and Christian seems like Catholic was of Satan. Like Catholic came when Jesus made Christianity, and that was just Satan's way of counteracting that. Catholicism.
I
And
mean,
that's just how it
that's
feels.
what it seems to
I could be
me.
wrong. I could be wrong, but that's just how it feels.
I don't think they were coming up better, but that's what it seems like to me. Dude, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but I left to go and get a wrap, purchased one, and now I'm back here and don't know where the fuck it's at. Devastating. Fuck. You don't want to leave? Oh well. Let's just get into the whole flat earth aspect of it. Um this is why I say you gotta, if you believe in Christianity, follow the Bible. You can't believe in the globe. You have to believe in flat earth. And there's a few of them, few verses like where it speaks on the four angels being in the four corners of the earth in the Bible. If you had a Bible, you can go to Revelation 7:1. And it says like God sent the angel be on the four corners of the earth to hold back the winds and stuff like that. There's a verse in the Bible. Man, I should have really looked these up before I started it. There's a verse that talks about Joshua stopping the sun, or Joshua having the sun stopped in the middle of the day so that he could win a Bible. I mean, so that he could win a battle. He prayed to God to do it, and God said he stopped this. It said God stopped the sun for the duration of the day until all of the, I don't know who they were slaying. I mean, let's just say Canaanites probably weren't them, but until they were all slayed, and then the sun started moving again. And so it's like that couldn't happen on a globe, because it wouldn't be the sun stops moving on a globe, because if it's the earth that's spinning and the sun that stay still, to create the phenomenon that the sun stopped, that would mean the earth would have to stop spinning. Then, and as
Mm-hmm.
scientists say, if that would ever happen, it would be catastrophic devastation all throughout the planet. So, but if you're on a flat earth and the sun stops, the sun just stops. It ain't gonna cause shifts in oceans or anything like that. So that's another one. And then of course it says itself, God says itself that the earth or the sun revolves around the earth. So it's just a gang of shit in the Bible that if you read the Bible and you believe in the Bible, and you're not just nitpicking what you believe and what you don't believe, you have to believe in flat earth. So what do you think?
I mean, I personally believe in flat Earth because I've flown on flights and I've sat at window
Uh,
seats to specifically look out the window while I'm flying up that high. And there, at no
mm-hmm.
point ever when I've ever flown in any flight I've ever flown on, there was never any curvature of the earth. It was just like you're flying up, you don't see any curve, you don't see a bend. Like if it was round, you see a bend. There's a bend, like, and thing is, if there's a bend, there's something that, like, you see where a curve happens. Never noticed it, never seen it,
Uh-huh.
never seen it, and everything is always have been flat. Like the idea of a
And as you're
globe being
flying,
circular, but and it's spinning, but has the gravitational pull to pull in asteroids and such things like that that can destroy it. If most things I know that's spinning,
mm-hmm.
most things don't come into things that are spinning at a high velocity. You can't, you like
Right.
try to throw something that's spinning at a high velocity. It doesn't even go. It just boop and bounce off. Though the velocity that they say the Earth is spinning at doesn't match the rate in which things can come in. You can't enter the orbit of a space that's spinning at such a velocity. That already doesn't make sense. Like, so from that point on, If you just go up into the sky and look down, everything is flat. Everything is diagrammed and it's flat. Nothing's rounded off. So, I mean, just me personally, I've looked at it, I've seen it. I was like, if you're thinking about it logically, around Earth doesn't make sense logically.
I can see the Earth being round, like the surface that we have access to, that being round, because it's domed off by a firmament. It's
Even domed off
like
by a
if
firmament,
you
you can have a dome around a firmament, but the Earth that you're on is still flat. The dome may be rounded, but the space that we're actually living on ain't
yeah
rounded at all.
yeah it's well the section of it, like the what we consider to be Earth, would be round but flat, like a table that's round and flat. And so, like a snow globe, the firmament would go over the
Yeah,
snow globe, and
I
everything
mean the
that
Earth
that
itself being rounded.
everything. Yeah, you get what I'm saying, right? Like I
I
have a
get what you're saying.
round table.
It's rounded off inside a snow
The
globe, but
table is
the
flat, but
actual
if the
figure
table
itself
is,
is
if I
flat.
consider the table Earth, if I
Uh huh.
consider the table to be Earth, then the table is flat, but the table is also
Okay.
round, and the table itself is Earth,
Okay,
so
I
it's
get what you're trying to
round
say. I get
and
what you're
it's
saying.
flat, and so that's what I mean, and so that's what I'm saying. Just like a snow globe, you put a snow globe over the flat surface, everything in that's under the glass of the globe, that's what would be considered Earth. But the snow globe would be all on the snow globe itself would be on the flat surface. That's level with the surface of the snow globe. But when you put the dome over it, it's no longer the whole table. It no longer expands infinitely in all directions. You just have Earth in that one section under the dome. That's Earth. And then if you took another dome and you put it right next to Earth on the same flat table, that under that dome you can call that Mars or some shit like that. But the surface goes on forever. But everything that's under your little bubble, like how it says in the Bible, in the beginning there was nothing, the earth was formless and void, then God created a void. He said he God separated the waters from the waters. So what is that, what does that look like? What image does that create if you're in water and you're separating the waters from the waters? You there?
I believe like yeah, no, I'm still here. Well, I believe that separating waters from the waters is okay. So like the I believe the Earth was just an ocean. It wasn't. It was no landmass. It was just an ocean. We got put. I don't know. That's fucking stupid.
What would make it
Let me
earth?
redact that. That's fucking stupid. Yeah, that's what I said. That's fucking stupid. Let me redact that. The
Yeah, don't
waters
say
from
you
the
believe,
waters.
like, don't.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so
don't.
there are celestial waters in terms of what we consider to. I feel like the celestial waters, what we can consider to be space and time and all that shit. Those are celestial waters, and then there's the waters that we know. So when you say I'll separate the waters from the waters, we're all droplets in the water, but is water separate from the water? So now it's like we're our own separate thing away from the celestial waters, but there was a firmament because if there wasn't a firmament, the celestial waters would still like drift into us. I'm separating the waters from the waters above and below because there's celestial waters coming from below too. That's why we can't explore the ocean. So the celestial waters above and below. That's why you can't go into space and you can't go too deep into the ocean. So it's those celestial waters that got cut off. Because in both aspects, there I say celestial waters because celestial waters is dark. which people would call space, without light. It's dark above and it's dark below. So he separated us from that because I feel like that is where everything really resides, in that darkness, in between these waters and the celestial waters. The celestial waters is where the realness lies, but I could be wrong. But that's just what I get from it.
When he says separate the waters from the waters, if there's nothing but water around, separating the water from the waters is creating a bubble within the water. Now inside of that bubble, water is outside the bubble, and there's water inside, but you could create an atmosphere inside of that bubble because now you can have air in there because that's how it says in the I'm not sure the exact wording in the Bible, but in other religions they have the sky god and then the god of the land, the earth god. And in Egyptian mythology, it was Nut and Geb, and then Nut was the sky and Geb was the earth, and they they copulated and created stars and all this type of shit. But that's what you would have to do. You create a bubble, and within that bubble, you create the sky. You create a space where there's air, and then now you have the waters below, the air above, and then that's when you could start creating the elements, all the elements in between, and then you could create dry land and all this other stuff. But separating the waters from the waters is creating a firmament. We can be exposed to the upper part of the firmament, because if you make a bubble, the flat surface would be in the middle, and then underneath the middle, we don't know. We haven't explored. We don't know, but underneath that will be the bottom of the bubble. Know what I'm saying? So if you think of a circle, and then across the middle of the circle, that's where we walk and where we exist. And when we look up, we see the sky, and we can see the top of the firmament. When we look down, we just see land. And then if we swam to the bottom of the ocean, that's where I would imagine that's where you could see the other side, like what's the other side. You can get to the other side of the bubble that was created, the separations of the waters. But I don't think
That's why
you
you
know
can't
we
explore
get
it.
access.
Like
I don't think we can access
the
that as
ocean floor
humans.
hasn't been that far explored. I feel like that's why the ocean floor
Right?
hasn't been that
Just yeah,
far explored. You can't go down too deep. They'll
can't
go
do it.
deep. They can even send drones down there that can get to that pressure and still don't know nothing. It's a
Yeah,
certain
can't
point
do it.
where I
Just
feel
too
like
much.
that's the firmament. Where the firmament is the wall. I don't
Yep.
think the wall is the Antarctic ice wall. The wall isn't the Antarctic ice wall. That's not the firmament's wall. That's just a wall that was made. There's more to be seen,
Mm.
but you know,
I believe I don't have this goddamn rap. Um, shit. Well, look, the I'm gonna just go through the top reasons why the Earth is flat, and there hasn't been any debunking or any disproving or any making it illogical when it comes to these things. And but when you talk to people about the earth being round and they go to defend that, they always end it with, well, I'm not a scientist, so I can't explain and blah blah blah. But top things about flat earth being flat that you could just easily explain is the fact that when airplanes take off, they out here. When airplanes take off, they have their nose tilted up, and then when they're in the sky, they level off, and the nose is still slightly up, but not. It'll never, even when it lands, the nose will be up as it lands, but it never at any point tilts its nose down. Not for takeoff, not for landing, and not during flight. Because if it tilted its nose down during flight, it'll nosedive real hard. The only type of planes that could do that are like fighter jets and the crafts that could make all those sharp maneuvers and shit. But commercial flights never tilt their nose down. So now, if it never tilts its nose down, how would you do something like fly from the North Pole to the South Pole and end up like this. If you're flying, you would have to go from the North Pole to the South Pole with, like, this is my phone screen facing down. And as you go around the globe and you get to the South Pole, the phone screen will be facing this way instead of down. But how can it go from this position to this position at the top of the globe to this position at the bottom of the globe, if at no point does it ever tilt its nose down during flight? If it never tilts its
Yeah,
nose
that's
down
that's
during flight,
that's
no matter
that's
how far,
that's logically unreasonable.
yeah, no matter how far it flies, it would just fly off into space. It would have to tilt its nose down to account for the curvature of the Earth, but planes don't do that. Never, at any point, does it tilt its nose down.
I've
So
been on
that's,
plenty of
first
planes.
thing
I've
to where it's
never
like,
known a I've
explain
never
that,
known
and then I'll
a
get off the
plane
flat Earth train.
I've never known a plane to land nose down, and it's always landed just straight and just kind of just roll the runway.
So So explain that, and I'll get off the flat Earth train. The second thing is, and it's not in order of strongest argument to weakest, but the second thing would be that the fact that the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and it's floating through space, following the sun, spinning around the sun, floating through space, spinning and everything like this at 1,000 miles per hour. But the water on the surface of the Earth doesn't spin out into space. But when you spin anything in nature, everything spins away from the center of the spin. The centripetal force makes it spin out. And then so you say, how does the water stay stuck to the surface of the Earth if the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour? And they say gravity. And it's like it would take trillions and gazillions of tons of force to hold all this water down on Earth, because there's gazillions of tons of it, and the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. So the force it would take to keep the water from spinning off the Earth is the same force that works on birds and bees and butterflies, but they just flutter through that motherfucker effortlessly. But water can't resist the force of this gravity while it's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, trying to spin off the planet. So that's the second thing. Next thing is you got the people say you go to when you they talk about when you look out at a boat going over the horizon, you see it starts to dip down until it's out of your view, and they say that's because it's going over the horizon. But that got debunked when people started buying these Nikon, I think Nikon P1000 cameras, and they could zoom all the way out into space to where you could see like Venus and shit. And people were saying that the planets aren't actually solid things. They actually look more like plasma or something like that. Electromagnetic currents or something. But anyways, so it could zoom that far. So what people would do is they will watch a boat with the camera on the regular zoom go off into the distance until they couldn't see it anymore and go over the horizon. But then when they zoom into it, it reappears again. And they zoom in just far enough for them to see it, and then it goes off into the horizon again, and then they zoom in even further, and it reappears again. Now, if the Earth was round, if the Earth was a globe, it wouldn't. It don't matter how far in you zoom, you wouldn't be able to re-see the ship that went underneath the horizon again. You would just start seeing off into space. So that's let me see, that's thing number 3. And then we got the fact that we see the same stars every night. You can see Polaris in the middle of the sky, and I think the northern hemisphere. And but supposedly we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, the Earth itself, and then it's traveling through space because the sun is traveling through space, and it's spinning around, orbiting around the sun, spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. And so that's 3 things. it's spinning in its own orbit, orbiting around the sun, and moving through space with the sun. But yet the same stars been in the sky since our ancestors was talking about those stars being in the sky. That's just impossible. That's just an impossible thing to have happen. You would see different stars every night, or at least every year. If you want to say, well, it's because it's so far away that you can still see. Okay, after a few hundred years, you should see some different constellations. If space is stationary, but we're flying through it, duh. But you know, people stay stuck in their beliefs because it's uncomfortable to have to as an adult realize that you've been wrong about a lot of stuff and then figure out how to be right, like what's right. People don't want to do that. The only way to believe that the earth is a globe is if you don't think about it. It's the only way. So, and then okay, and then I'll do this one too. I could actually show this. Let me share it because people say, well, I've seen pictures because I also believe that space is fake, and people say, oh well, you've seen pictures of the earth from space and it's a ball. But what they don't know is that all the photos from space, they're not photographs, they're images created on a computer, rendered by artists, NASA artists, and then put out there as if it's a snapshot. But it's not, it's never been. So let me show you this dude. I forgot his name. I think it's Robert Simmons, and he's the NASA artist that created the most famous image of the globe. Probably still the most famous today is the marble picture or whatever, the marble globe, whatever they call it. But yeah, he comes out himself and explains how, oh yeah, all the photographs of space, they're not they're all photos. They have to be. And then he explains why all pictures from space have to be photoshopped. So let me share this. Did I thought I put it up? Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Robert Simmons, the NASA artist, speaking on that pic, the blue marble.
I want to fool you. Last month, for the first time since 1972, NASA released a blue marble, a single snapshot of the Earth taken from outer space. And so much has changed in the decades between that first picture and the second. Borders have shifted, generations have come and gone. Our global population has nearly doubled. But one thing hasn't changed. Our planet is as beautiful as ever. It still looks blue.
I don't even trust me look like a reptile.
In 2002, Blue Marble 2.0, NASA's Rob Simmons made this.
Oh, yes.
And it had wide appeal too. For example, it ended up as the default background on the iPhone.
I didn't even know until I bought an iPhone and turned it on and kind of did a little happy dance.
Simmons' job is...
It's primarily taking data and making pictures out of it.
That's what this is. A composite of data sets from several different instruments translated into a picture.
To us, the really cool thing was the data set. Up until that point, there was no realistic color map of the globe anywhere.
So the land layer here comes from
the Moderate Resolution Imaging Spectroradiometer aboard Terra.
And the tricky part here was the weather.
So we actually had to take clouds out.
They stashed the clouds for later, went onto the ocean. That came from an instrument that measures phytoplankton in the sea.
Where it was low, I colored it dark blue because they're low mostly in mid oceans. And then where it's a little bit higher, it was like a little bit brighter green.
Then add the clouds back in.
There's a small problem with it because there's a very slight gap in between
So this nigga's
each
just going
orbit.
off of what
So
he
some of
thinks.
those are painted on.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Then
There was
It
another
is
layer to sort of.
painted on.
but it has
It is photoshopped in between each orbit.
So some of those are painted on.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Then,
There was another layer to sort of simulate the atmosphere.
and then there's this little bright spot.
It's called the specular highlight. So it's the reflection of sunlight off of water.
Those are the pieces, but you can't just slap them all together.
It just didn't look realistic. It looks kind of flat, or the clouds are sort of too see-through. So I just hit Command Z a lot.
There's artistry to creating the world.
What I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space, but I've looked at these images over and over again, trying to sort of get the essence of it. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. It is photoshopped, but
It is
So-
Photoshop, but it has to be, bro. That the whole thing is pissing me
it's
off.
like has to be. And it's just
Why does it have to be?
it's frustrating when it's such an obvious thing. It's frustrating when it's such an obvious thing, but what it takes for you to realize how obvious it is to think about it, and people don't even care to do that. It's like still believing in Santa Claus, and you just don't want to do what it takes to think about it. Damn, I don't have a chimney, but he do be in here, and
It's
he
easy to
do,
say.
and,
I don't got time
and
for
then
that.
sometimes I don't like exactly. And it's like that, and that's the frustrating thing, because what they're saying is they don't have time to think.
Mhm.
Like they go to bed at night and no thoughts, just sleep. I don't got time to think about what I'm living on. What I'm living on. And because here it comes, the most important thing is this. You can ask yourself why lie about why lie about the shape of the earth? And the reason is to hide God from us. Because they all have to make everyone that's trying to usher humanity into this new modernized way of living, where like you're godless and the government is your God and technology is the future and everything like that. They need you to not believe in God in order for you to want that future. And so they do everything that they can to get you to turn away and disbelieve in God. And so the earth being a globe is the biggest thing. It's the biggest deception, because one of the most major deceptions is the fact that if we're living on a globe, that means that everything has been explored and discovered already, and there's no new shit. And so there's nowhere else to go. And so now you can actually push the whole overpopulation agenda. It's too crowded. You ain't got nowhere else to go. But with the earth being flat and endless in all directions, as long as you can, there's no the Antarctica, the ice walls blocking you and holding you in, you could just keep going. Just like how Admiral Byrd reported when he was talking about flying over Antarctica and seeing new lands and everything. In fact, let me see if they got that one on here. Admiral Byrd. The bird is the word. So
No, I hear you.
I say, you say you gotta explain before we in. Anything like that.
yeah, it's a gang of things. It's so there's a dude named Eric Dubay, and I think he came up with 200 explanations for why the earth is flat, and he's going through all of them. And then he's like, I could do 400. I could keep going. I could do 400. pick 200 because somebody else did 100. So I said I'm gonna double that. But like it's plain as day. It's in our face. They make people believe that or disbelieve what's in front of their own eyes.
You ever rode through Arizona, you know.
You see that the ground is flat. You feel that we're not spinning. You can see that the stars are stationary, but yet you believe that they tell you that we spinning, we on the globe, so people just believe it.
It's because we was told that, and we don't got time to think outside of it. It's what they tell people. Tell us. They don't got time to think outside of it. You got your jobs, you got your family, you got your kids, you got your life. Who the fuck got time to think outside of that? That's what people put in their mind. I don't got time to think about the shit we living on and none of that shit.
Yeah,
shit, I gotta pay bills and rent.
Mm,
It's all part of it. It's hard. The more we lived in a society where at one point we didn't have houses and all that shit, and that's why. And they learned from their mistakes. The people who control the planet now learn from their mistakes. Their mistake was they didn't have enough to influence the people before, and so there was constant revolutions. There was a revolution every other day because people didn't have nothing to do other than to pay attention to the government, and not just the government, but what was going on and where they lived, and things they had nothing to do but to pay attention to those things. So, with that being the case, people would constantly revolt. And with people so busy with I gotta pay my rent, I gotta pay bills, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta take care, I got my life stuff. They have their life stuff on top of extra burdens. Ain't nobody everybody feels like they got time to look at like all that extra stuff. And that's the trap, but that's the trap we're in. It's like nobody really feel like everybody feels like they ain't got time to look at that stuff because it's like even though it's obvious
What up, Queen?
and it's in your face. What's up, Queen? Even though it's obvious
Hey,
and
fellas.
it's in your face, it's not going to be obvious to those who are constantly working, who are constantly put under pressure, who are constantly dealing with life situations. They're not going to look at it like that. Even though we all deal with life situations like that, some of us just look at it like can slow ourselves down and look at it. It's like, bro, it's like playing football, bro. There's niggas who play the game fast, bro, and there's niggas who pace themselves and play the game the way it's supposed to be played. It's two different ways you play the game. You playing the game where you slowing the game down, you making the game, you playing the game, you're not letting the game play you. Everybody runs through this motherfucker and they let the game play them instead of otherwise. Like we play Yakuza. Nigga, you can run through the whole game, nigga, and play every mission and never do no side missions and never know what it really means, what the game really means. It's some niggas who do. And that I feel like, to me, in my opinion, that's the reason why niggas don't pay attention to the fact that the earth is flat. And you will see that if you paid attention to it. There are a lot of things that's right in front of our faces, but most people won't never.
Queen, what you think about the shape of the earth?
Oh shit,
No,
damn.
no.
Damn, just cut me off.
It's a push up.
Go ahead, Will. Finish.
Oh no, I'm done now. He wants to hear what you got to say.
So
You hopped in.
gravity.
I have talked past.
Queen, what you think about the shape of the earth?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, many people think it's round. I really don't know what to think because shit
What
ain't
do
adding up.
you think? Don't try to deflect and delay and no. What do you think about the shape of the earth?
I don't know. I've never been off.
I mean, I don't think that is round like it's stated.
It's a triangle.
You know, so
What do
what
you
shape
is
it is,
it
I just
round
know.
or is it flat?
I don't think it's round.
What about you,
Triangle.
Dre?
I think it's a
You ask him,
triangle.
dude. Dre, we on the globe?
Yeah.
We on the globe or we on the flat surface?
We on a triangle, a flat triangle. They got you guys all fooled. Think this is a flat sphere. It's a triangle.
Explain your theory.
It's a triangle. Look. I know it's a triangle because I've been off the earth
What leads
before.
you to believe? What leads you to believe it's a triangle?
Because I left Earth, and I saw Earth for what it is. It's a big triangle. You guys are all fools. You guys think it's a sphere.
And then
Some of y'all think
And
it's
this is what we get.
a fucking triangle.
This
It's
is
like
what
I
we
don't
get. This is
know.
why we could never
I'm gonna
get
tell you
to
the truth.
like
I'm gonna tell you
the
the truth.
seriousness of
I
the
don't know if it's
situation, because
I
this is
don't know
what
if it's
it'll
flat.
always be. And
I
this
don't
is
know
what
if it's
historically,
sphere.
this is why they
Uh,
created the
uh,
term
uh,
conspiracy theory, so that when
hold
you
on,
actually
dog.
talk about real
Wait,
shit,
hold on.
it'll
I was just
immediately go to
like,
this.
hold
If
on. I was
people
just
can't
trying.
think outside of what's already been
I,
told to them.
they went
I was
from
playing
the
about the triangle.
Hey, Joe,
I
that's
don't
fine.
know what it is. I don't know if it's sphere. I don't know if it's flat.
That sounds
Just
more intelligent than a triangle.
what they told me. They told me the Earth is round. Every time we see a picture of the Earth, it is round. So if you ask me, the Earth is round, and my meaning is because I've never been off the planet Earth. So like I couldn't tell you actually what it is, or even if I did have a theory, it's just a theory. It's not a fact. It's not, you know what I mean? Because I've never been off Earth. So truthfully, I don't know. I mean, if it's flat, then hell, it's flat. If it's sphere, then hell, you know what I mean? I just know we live on it, and you know what I mean. If you jump up, you come down. You throw a rock up, it comes down. It's just, you know what I mean. So truthfully, whether the Earth is flat or not, to me, does I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter to me because I've never been off of the Earth. So you know what I mean. Anybody else's
Right.
guess
Well,
is as
because
good as mine.
we were discussing that. We were
But
discussing
if
that, the
somebody says the Earth
significance
is
of hiding the tape.
Well, we've talked
Hmm?
about this before. We talked about this before,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to
yeah,
what the water
we
is
discussed
and
it.
how the horizon is and stuff. We discussed it.
Yeah, we
yeah. So
because we were saying earlier, I was saying, well, whenever you have discussions with people who still believe that the Earth is a globe, all of their explanations, no matter where they start from, it always ends with, "I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I haven't left the Earth," or just different variations of that. But then when you flip it to the people who believe in the Earth being flat, and we give our explanations, there is no "I don't know." It's all concrete facts. We don't. It's not theory. It's facts that
What
we
is
say.
concrete facts? What concrete facts do you have? I'm asking a question for people who don't know and they ain't heard it, and I've heard this conversation. What facts
Okay.
do you have that the Earth is flat?
So here, okay. I went through a few of them, but I'll go through a couple of them again. One of them being that one of the things that people use to say that the Earth is round is that if you're out on the ocean and you watch a ship sail off and away from you, after so long the ship gets smaller and smaller until you can't see it anymore. And people say the reason that you can't see it anymore is because it goes over the horizon of the Earth and it starts going down, traveling, you know, the Earth. But they came out with these Nikon P1000 zoom cameras to where you'll watch the thing with your naked eye disappear. Then you'll put the camera on and you'll zoom in and the ship will reappear. And then you'll let it disappear again. You'll zoom in further, it'll reappear. And it won't disappear from the vision until you get to the length of how far the camera goes. And so many people were doing this test that they banned that camera. You can't buy that camera anymore, except off of, OfferUp or some shit. But I'm pretty sure people who have that camera, they're not selling them, they keep them. But they took it off the market because people were using that camera to make flat Earth videos, because they were also looking at planets and showing how they're not solid objects in the sky. They look more like plasma. So that's one thing. Like the ships don't go over any horizon. Your eyes just can't see that far because our eyes, it forms a triangle when we see. Like the bottom of your eye goes up, the top of your eye goes down, and everything like that. And so the further away an object gets, the smaller it becomes, because your line of vision gets smaller to the point where it just disappears because you can't see forever. But then if you could extend your view, what the Nikon camera could do, it widens up again, and then you see it on a flat surface. Second thing is when you take commercial flights, you pay attention. The plane on takeoff, while it's flying, and when it lands, always has its nose tilted up. It takes off with its nose tilted upwards. It flies with its nose slightly tilted upwards, not too much, but it can't tilt its nose up down even the slightest degree because the wind pressure would make it nosedive. The only type of planes that could do that are the fighter jets and the trick jets and shit like that. But commercial flights never tilts its nose down. When it lands with its nose up. So if you're flying over a globe, right? So say this is the plane, the white side is the bottom of the plane, is the top of the plane. When you're flying from the North Pole to the South Pole, you would go like this, and you would end up on the South Pole like this. So how can you start off on the North Pole with the tail facing down, end up on the South Pole with the bottom of the plane facing up, but at no point do you tilt your nose down? You have to have your nose up the whole time. How do you compensate for the curvature of the earth? You can't. You have to tilt your nose down. But commercial flights never do. And so those are factual things that the question is, how is that possible on a spherical earth? And you can't come up with an answer for it. But if you have any question for, well, how is this the case on a flat earth? We have every answer. We never come to, well, I'm not a scientist. It's always because of this, because of that, or because of this, or because of that. But the only reason why you would not believe that the earth is flat is to not think about it. To just don't think about it. When you don't think about it, it doesn't have to make sense. You've just believed it your whole life. And everybody knows that the earth is flat. But I mean, the earth is round. But that's the same mentality of, so you just, if everybody is going to jump off of a bridge, you're going to jump right along with them. Like your defense is everybody knows, but your defense is never, oh, because scientifically this and this and this and that, and that's the fact. It's never that. So, I just say it's a psychological thing, and it's the biggest conspiracy because what it does is it hides God from people, and it makes it impossible to truly believe in God and what it says in the Bible. Because in the Bible, it says that the earth is still and that the sun revolves around it. In the Bible, it says that there's 4 corners of the earth. There is no corner on a ball. And a whole bunch of other stuff. It was a scene where Joshua had the sun stand still in the middle of the sky, which means the sun was moving, and you had God stop it. So all the stuff in the Bible is flat earth information. So that's why the title is, if you don't believe the earth is flat, you're not a true Christian. You don't really believe what it says in the Bible. You just claim that you're a believer. You have to believe in the earth being flat if you're true to your claim to being a Christian. There's no way around that. But I'm open to prove me wrong. Let me know where I'm wrong. So you got 2 parties that's the reason why this is being proliferated. Shit. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. It's the government. It's the government and the church. The Catholic Church being the biggest one. Because the Catholic Church is the literal den of vipers that Jesus was preaching about, and because he went to the church and said, you're a den of vipers. So let me load up this video if it loads. Usually, because I just have the file. Usually when I just load a video file to play, it be choppy as fuck. Remember, I was trying to play those funny videos. It just was not working. And I'm gonna try it out. If you can see, I'm gonna show you what I mean as far as the church being complicit in the demonic agenda of hiding God.
What was strange was this window, and I said, that looks like an eye. It looks like a serpent's eye.
Yes.
So I dug a little deeper, and when I saw the audience hall from the back, where the back audience was seated,
showing the
it really
Admiral
did
Byrd?
take my breath away.
No.
Since what was revealed was this
Yeah, it's showing
right
him.
here. That is a giant, massive
I
reptilian
can hear it clearly.
face, shaped into the scales to the fangs. There was no mistake about
I
it.
can
But
still
what's
hear
behind this hidden symbolism? And what can we see
Yeah,
or glean
it's
if we
right
dig
now.
deeper? Well, number 4, look at where the Pope is seated.
Now I see it.
My first lead
I couldn't see it at first. Do you see where it says for my Catholic friends on the screen? Like,
Yeah,
is
I
that
see it.
showing?
I see it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
something was strange was this window, and I said, that looks like an eye. It looks like a serpent's eye. So I dug a little deeper, and when I saw the audience hall from the back,
This
where
is
the
in the
back
Vatican.
audience was seated, it really
This is
did
the
take my
Vatican
breath
where
away. Since
where the Pope is. The Pope does it. All his main
I
congregations
can
and
see it.
everything. I forget.
Look like a rattlesnake. I
Yeah, I
can see
forget.
it.
Yeah, I forget the name of the cathedral, but it's in the Vatican.
what was revealed was this right here. That is a giant, massive reptilian face shaped into the direct architecture. Everything from the slits in the eyes to the scales to the fangs, there was no mistake about it. But what's behind this hinted symbolism? And what can we see or glean if we dig deeper? Well, number 4, look at where the Pope is seated. We see him here from the back of the hall, that he's in fact seated in the mouth of the serpent or reptilian. In the very mouth. This is symbolic of the Pope being the voice of the serpent, in fact speaking the serpent's words to the audience. This might well shake your faith, that is if you're a Catholic, which I was. I actually went to Catholic school myself and was an altar boy. But here you can see it in plain view. Clear symbolism, clear evidence that something here is extremely wrong. This image hasn't been photoshopped. This is real. This is built right into the architecture that was designed by those within the Pope's inner sanctum. But there is more symbolism. For this, though, we have to go outside. Number 3. Do you see anything strange here? You're looking at the hall itself. Do you see anything weird? Well, if you look carefully, it looks like the head of a giant snake. Can you see it now? In fact, it's almost unmistakable. You can see the snake's muzzle at the front and you can see its eye. It just looks like a snake. To me, this is yet more connective symbolism that what's going on inside matches the outside. And since here we can see serpentine architecture with ease. Number 2, let's head back inside and look at what the Pope himself sees. If the Pope is seated where he is, what does he see? Well, he sees a giant serpent with eyes once again. The audience is symbolic of almost the serpent's meal, and the Pope is not preaching to the audience under this symbolism, but the giant god-like reptilian creature himself. Why? Because this is what the Pope sees. Can you imagine that when they were designing this, that they designed this all by mistake? That this is some kind of high anomaly? No, because they spent literally years on the designs. They definitely would have known what the Pope...
That's not. Yeah, you see. That's and then he goes on to say what they don't have in that cathedral is a cross. There's no cross in there. But if you can see inside of the mouth, you can't really see it, but it's a portrait, I don't know what to call it, like a sculpture or something of Jesus not being crucified, but it looks like being dragged down to hell. Let me see if I can find just that video, but it's real demonic shit with the Catholic Church. But going back to the flat earth shit, that's what keeps the people like halfway believing. They'll go to church out of fear of hell, but as they live their lives, it's only with half belief. They'll go to church to try to get their sins, admonished or whatever, but as far as how they live their life, it's not as believers. Let's see.
That's real creepy. To be standing up there looking at a big ass snake, that's real creepy. That's real creepy.
Yeah.
To be standing up there, or to be sitting in the audience and looking at the mouth of a snake, that shit's real creepy.
Right. Let me see, and if I could
But
find
we've
a video or
over the
maybe I just got
time,
to
like
Google.
I've heard that the
Oh,
vampires dwell in the Vatican. I don't want nobody to come get me for saying it. But they always say the bad shit about the Vatican. The blood suckers.
this right here. It's they call it. All right. I'm back.
You there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
The
Mic
statue of
check.
the resurrection, located
It is
in
Mike. Can you hear me?
You see the video?
the Vatican's Paul VI
I do see this creature. Oh, that's supposed to be God?
audience hall, is receiving some restoration.
So you see the video?
Uh-huh.
That's supposed to be God.
That's what you see it?
Yes.
That's that's supposed to be Jesus. It's the statue of resurrection, and that's what's inside of the serpent's mouth. And in the from the last video, it was zoomed out so you couldn't see it, but that's what's in it. And that's supposed to be Jesus. Statue of resurrection. I think missing half his face.
Reptilian.
Like that's
No,
a
that's a
hellacious
man,
thing.
and then it's the creatures attacking him to, I guess, take him down.
Why the man looks like?
Why would they have some stuff like that? And it's supposed to be a holy temple.
Why he
Like,
looks like he got a snake head?
that's because something is on his head.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's like his
during his general
it looked like his
audiences
face
that are
got
held tonight.
hit with a shotgun. They took the
Audience
picture
hall.
mid shotgun.
The
Yeah,
statue
see?
of the resurrection, located in the Vatican's Paul VI audience hall, is receiving some restoration work, which is scheduled to finish by December 9th. The statue can often be seen behind the Pope during his general audience.
Ain't nothing holy about that. Look, sitting right in front of that shit, that's demonic, dude.
Well,
But yeah, man, they
I wouldn't be attending that. Sorry.
they on some shit.
I've been to a Catholic church. It made me feel like I was in a horror movie. So I'm good. They got the humming and hollering, and I'm sitting there like, soon the devil is coming. I got to get out of here.
E900. I'm gonna try to 8 inches per mile now. Try to find one of the videos with the P900 P1000 camera, but you can't find any of them on YouTube, because when you search anything on YouTube flat earth, all they're going to give you is videos debunking it, and then videos of people claiming to be flat earthers, but they just make ridiculous claims that nobody who actually believes in flat earth would make. So that if you're researching it, you'll look at that and be like, that's what they believe. Oh, that's dumb.
So Max,
That's all
would
you'll
you
find on
saying
YouTube.
so Max, would you saying the government and the church are two of the two major factors that why we would want to believe that the earth is round? Is it because they can control religion and the world? Is that like why they would encourage us to think that? Or put it in document that we,
Yeah,
ingest that
yeah, because yeah, it's that because they the people who we are dealing with, people look at it like Democrat or Republican, conservative, or even this country or that country, but it's not that. It's really just two factions, two main factions, and then they break down on each side into smaller factions. But each faction consists of fallen angel seeds, like Nephilim, whatever you want to call it, like the elites. That they're called elites because the god they worship is called El. And so there's a gang of names that derived from El, and elites was one of them because they refer to as Illuminati and elites because they were illuminated into higher knowledge. And then so you have the elites and everything like that. So you have these elites who are broken into two factions. It's the faction that's pushing for modernity, which is let go of the natural way of life and just lean into all the digital Neuralink futuristic tech type shit. And then the other side are the traditionalists. That's just the opposite of it. That's why I asked that question the other day about would you rather be in a super future with the super technology, Jetsons level shit, or would you be like the avatars where they're super in tune with nature? Because those are the two that ultimately, that's ultimately what they're fighting for. So the faction that both factions feels like humanity is too stupid to tell all this information. It wouldn't be good. You get into a whole thing for that. So they keep the main shit secret. That's how you have all these different countries that all agree to guard Antarctica. But from there, they're trying to push the agenda of modernity or traditionalism. They have to keep the population ignorant to what reality really is, because then the population will make their own decision towards the truth and the light and everything like that. They don't want that. They want to be able to control people. So neither faction wants us to be free and to have knowledge for ourselves. But they're warring with each other. What the thing that they agree on is that we have to keep up this globe. We need less people. We don't have enough space. God isn't real, so listen to us. Well, traditionalists actually do believe in God. They actually, their thing is like God is nature, God is the universe, God is everything. But the other side, they don't. So when you have people from high up, CIA or government faction, when they come out and they reveal shit about flat Earth narrative or Antarctica narrative or anything like the Admiral Byrd, those are traditionalists that are trying to move humanity towards understanding their true nature, but they can't give it to humanity all at once because motherfuckers will go crazy. But that's just why they have to keep people believing that the earth is a globe, there's scarcity. Listen to us and let us guide you towards the future rather than just giving us all the information and letting us decide for ourselves. But let me take this down and show you let me see, where's it at? Yep, strange Horizons.
Will, you
Show you
still
some of
there?
these photos in the Nikon.
Oh, he's hype agent.
Uh,
I was.
Here we go. All right, cool. So this is the camera that could super zoom, and this is it is banned now.
So
But it was
check this
people
out.
were
I
making
want to create a
videos
YouTube
like
thumbnail
this.
using this photo, but I want to remove the background so that I can just have myself holding the phone in the photo. So how do you do that? This is where Quillbot's free
Anyways,
tool
and then
comes in.
and
So
there
all
was
you have to do
also
is go to your
another. It
browser and
started
type
with I think it was
quillbot.com. Scroll down until you see all the
is
tools and go to
Chicago and
images,
Detroit
then go to background
like
remover. Go ahead and
a
upload your
river
image right
away or
here,
something like that,
and
or
then
something
wait for the background to be
like a
removed. And
bridge away
within
or
a few
something? Are they
seconds, you
divided by
can see the
water?
background has been removed.
It's
And
not
this right
divided by
here is the final
water.
results. Now when I'm
Not
editing, music
Chicago and
saves me
Detroit,
so
because
much time.
Chicago
Remember,
is
it's free. Try it out today.
Then it,
close to Indiana and stuff like that.
geography was always my
Detroit
world.
is up in their hands. So,
Geography is always been my world subject, so I don't know. But it's I'll try to find it. But it started with that, and that was one of the main things that people would use to say, yeah, that's the reason why you can't see that city from here. And then when the camera came out, that was the first thing someone made a video where like, look, when you zoom in, you see it. There is no dip
mhm.
in the horizon. And then people started going crazy with all types.
Like it could. Is there a bathroom in here? I need to use it.
Like music like this, making it all extra dramatic when it don't need to be.
Yes, I got that job. Yeah. So what was I thinking? You hear me?
But no, this wasn't even a good video because the video, huh? Wait, are you talking, Queen? Yeah, this wasn't even a good video. The videos I saw, they would show, it would start off looking like how it looks right now, but you would see absolutely nothing in the distance, like that. But then it'll zoom in and you'll see all type of shit. But with the naked eye, they would be like, well, that's the reason why you can't see because it's the curvature of the earth. Nope. Turns out that was a lie. Trying to find a different one. But so, like, what do you think? Do you think any different in these last 20 minutes? Sides. Can y'all hear me? Am I? Damn, I ain't even. Am I still streaming? Will, you still there? Yo, Will. Mic check. Redemption. Still there? Yeah. Are you? Where'd you go?
I put the phone down. I went to the bathroom.
All right.
My bad.
Well, then, yeah, I think I expressed about as much as I need to. Oh, is this muted? Is that why? So yeah, man, is there anything? All right, let me see. I'm gonna play some of this video. I'll get my scribbles together.
Speaking. Also, what the audience was saying. So this is very strange, and it raises.
Never mind. Truth does not fear investigation. All right. All right, here we go. This one I know for sure got some videos of that camera, of them using that camera.
Okay.
Do you see it up there?
Yeah, but now I do.
All right. All right, cool.
Things your brain hides that no one ever told you stuff past heaven.
Sure. Go to a seashore. Watch.
So if you imagine like a hot, humid day, the haze over a road, all telescopes will eventually blur out in that same kind of way due to the air. So no, you can't see at a distance.
Is the Earth flat or round?
I don't know what.
It's round. Okay, now let's see. How do we go about proving that? Go to the seashore. Go to a seashore. Watch. As ships sail away, they don't disappear all at once. No, first, the bottom will disappear. See, the bottom of the ship is gone. Now we can see midway up, and then the whole thing disappears. Now, ships came back. They didn't fall off the table. So people realized that the world is curved. I mean, it's a big curve, but it's curved. So, the process of testing claims, the world is flat, the world is round, is what we call science. Now, if you have a claim that can't be tested, that's what we call pseudoscience. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof.
Boats don't disappear over the curvature of the horizon. Boats disappear due to perspective. All you have to do is go to the beach, watch a boat disappear from your eye, and then whip out your telescope, your binoculars, or your high-powered zoom on your camera, and you can pull the entire boat right back into view. Whole mass and all. Yeah, that's right. You think the boat disappeared? Just whip out your telescope, your binoculars, or your zoom camera. You bring the entire boat back into view, completely debunking everything Coy just told you. And here's my video proof.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof.
Imagine that. You can debunk the curvature of the Earth yourself with just a simple zoom on your camera. Bye-bye, little boat.
The flat Earth? Well, that didn't stand up to tests. The round Earth did. And you guys, come on. Everybody watches newscasts. You all use mobile phones. You all see airplanes fly around. You all go to see Ed Sheeran in concert one day in London, another day in Melbourne, Australia. This all depends on our fundamental understanding of the size of the Earth and its shape with extraordinary precision.
What the fuck did you just say?
The way we teach science is you're just some empty vessel and we pour the science into you and then you regurgitate it on an exam. Because Earth,
exactly that.
We know it spins once a day. Yes.
Off to a great start.
So you spin, when you spin pizza dough, it kind of flattens out. It gets wider in the middle. And so Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning. and it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the pole. Not only that,
You know, that's you ain't gotta watch all that, but that's what they do. They gotta put their talking heads up there to
Oh, hey,
make
my
people
bad.
believe
You
what
gotta
they
kick
need
me
them to
out.
believe, and he said that you're an empty vessel. Okay, well you back. I was showing
Yeah,
some
it
more.
just like me for the
You see the
time
video
being.
of the anything like that?
The science guy.
For sure. Yeah, and that's what first it
I
was
did.
Bill Nye, then they had to replace him. But that's what they do. They have these characters come on. They're both just science guys, and that's it. They're not scientists. They're science guys, and so they send them out there to sound good, sound smart, sound intelligent, so that if you were to say something against what they said, oh, they got to be like, well, so what? You're smarter than a scientist? You're smarter than Neil deGrasse Tyson? He just explained.
Mhm.
But it's like if you have your own brain, your own senses, and you use them, everything about it says different. The only thing that's left is you just choose to believe what you're told. And so, like I said, the ultimate reason is for the intent and purpose, sole intent and purpose of hiding from humanity and keeping that from being a subject of conversation where we actually are. If we're not on the globe, if we're on the flat surface of the earth, that means if the surface of the earth is flat, then that means we don't have the limitations that they say that we have. They can't say we've explored everything. We've already conquered all the nations and everything. They can't say, "Oh man, it's scarcity. We only have so much resources and so many people." All that goes away. So that's the whole reason why. But I'll do another one of these when we get into the more deeper into the religious aspect, because I've been working on something with breaking down the god El, because he makes a cameo. He's mentioned in the Bible, and then throughout all these different religions, it's just different names. He takes on different names, but the pantheon underneath them is always the same. It's always a sky god, and then it's a goddess who takes the power away from the sky god, and then it's always a redeeming savior who goes to war with an opposing force, who is born from the woman that took the power from the sky god. So that'll probably be next Tuesday.
Oh, we got the story of Christianity.
I didn't even see we got comments over here. Because here listening. What up with you, Nightcore? Nightcore says yes. Earth is an enclosed stationary level planar realm having topography. Don't even know. I would have to research what that even means. But it sounds better than the horse shit they teach you in school. Sounds more correct than what the fuck we be hearing from everybody else around saying we're on a spinning ball of water. So, man, it's a pleasure to have you in here tonight, Score. I was just wrapping it up. Like I said, I'm doing another one next Tuesday. I do random videos throughout the week. Over here in Leisure World, we just be shooting the shit and talking and everything, breaking shit down. But if you're into conspiracies, man, shoot through next Tuesday. Like I said, we're gonna be more on the religious tip. I don't know if you was here for the we covered the Catholic Church and the whole serpent Vatican angle. Go and watch that on the playback if you like it. But hopefully I see you next week. Y'all have anything left y'all want to say, Queen?
No, it was very interesting. It was very interesting. I learned a lot. We had this conversation before, so it's always interesting to find out some scientific facts. And the fact that I saw that thing up in the Vatican is tripping. You don't hear
Let
me?
me see. Nice said. I hear you. I was reading this comment over here, but I heard what you said. That you are on the fence. You're on the fence still, but I feel like I moved the meter a little bit today. You know, I like to believe that. But Knight's Core says it's a misleading term. It's magnification. And I recommend y'all research dark CPL with a built-in 5-stop ND filter and AR filters. Look, bro, I just smoke weed and play video games. And I look up interesting shit. I don't even know what a dark CPL with a built-in 5-stop ND filter and IR filters are, or what impact they would have on my life. I got so many thoughts already swimming around in here, man. I don't think I want to add any. That just seems like it would take up a lot of space. Says it'll clear up your pictures and distancing. So what are you what is the earth round or flat? Just in layman's term, like if you were to fucking space engines and shit on rockets.
The blazer.
Oh no, you won't find anything. This is the first of my conspiracy videos. My other videos is just me just talking about random whatever is going on during the week. But I mean, check them out. Perhaps you'll like them. But we just here hanging out because the way I see it is the internet is becoming the new high school playground. Everybody's just coming up with their own podcasts and everything. So fuck it. This is my little circle. You know, when you go to recess, you got some free time. You can find your way over here, see what we're talking about. When I go live, just, like and subscribe so you get the alert when I go live. Because, I'm just getting started. So it's real random and sporadic. But as I get better, shit will get better. As I learn more of this technology, everything will be smoother. I'm trying to figure this shit out and sound, coherent while I'm doing it. So once I get all that shit figured out, shit'll be smooth. Then I'd tell you to recommend more people, but I appreciate you coming through. But I like that. He says it's as simple as that. The earth is flat. It doesn't make sense any other way.
Who the fuck you?
Am I back? Can you hear me, Queen?
You can be heard. You've been heard this whole
I
time.
can hear you. I'm
right,
sorry, I'm
cool.
getting
We
a
out of
dental
here
card. I hear
before
you.
my
All right.
You've been heard this whole
laptop
time.
explodes.
Hi, I see you in the back.
Cool. You got a new subscriber. Thank you, Night Core. He subscribed. Yeah, he over there, he running his own
Oh, that's
program. I
Uncle
think
that's
got
Uncle Anwar.
his
I got
podcast
okay,
going,
that's
running
Uncle
his
Anwar.
phone.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, man, appreciate you coming through, Night Core. Always appreciate you coming through, Will. And next time I'll drop the link for you too. Not directly give us the tidbits because I feel like it'll make more sense hearing you say what you're saying than me trying to read it and make sense of the words myself. So I'll be here next Tuesday, man. Thanks for stopping by. I don't have any type of outro or anything. So, we just